is Benjamin Okeze Kalu, representing the good people of Bende Federal Constituency. I am from Abia State. Arise.
From the hallowed chambers, his voice resonates crystal clear.
You say you shared money recently, and I represent the constituency, and there are 360 of us, and all of them are saying we are not feeling the impact.
He's the unmistaken voice of Undi Bende and the image maker of the House of Representatives.
Swept away houses and roads in communities like Mpa, Umimenyi, Uzita, and Bende. Mr. Speaker,
he's a committed, courageous, articulate, and deeply impassioned lawmaker with the plight of his constituents.
Joining me now on the political segment is Honorable Benjamin Kalu, who's the spokesman of the House of Representatives.
Ben Kalu's mandate gives you first-hand information on the activities of the member representing the good people of Bende Federal Constituency at the House of Representatives, Honorable Benjamin Kalu, as well as his position on national issues. Ben Kalu's mandate.
It is Ben Kalu's mandate, of course, bridging the gap between the parliament and the people is the program Ben Kalu's mandate. Of course, Representative Benjamin Okeze Kalu of Bende Federal Constituency is joining us virtually today. Glad to have you join us. Welcome to the program.
Thank you very much, Michael, for inviting me, and it's always a pleasure to be here.
All right.
I'm glad to be here today. It promises to be a good interactive section.
Okay, we should begin with security. Obviously, the Constitution Review organized by the House of Representatives on security, the security summit that was meant to hold last week was postponed after the death of the immediate chief of army staff. The National Security Summit commenced. Of course, it later held the leaders of the National Assembly seeking urgent solutions to the insecurity confronting the nation. So, but people want to see action after the talks. Is help coming from this summit? Are there any solutions to the current instability in the nation?
We are going to round up on the True Federalism Committee and the many issues that we could not discuss last week.
Okay.
I was thinking we should look at that before continuing with
the security
the issues you have for today, so that we'll be consistent with our promise.
All right, so let's look at the APC's committee report on true federalism.
So, and we try to clear Nigerians that we are interested in restructuring, and we try to give the evidence of the steps we took in 2018 to show that we're interested in true federalism. And I started last week to share some of the resolutions of that committee, which is in line with what the governors are asking currently. And to prove to Nigerians that we are actually interested in making sure that some of the issues causing the agitation around the country, that they are taken care of. So that was why the committee came on board, and some of the issues I discussed last week. And we left a few things to handle.
The one of them appointment
had to do with power sharing.
Power sharing,
power sharing and rotation, ministerial appointment, and types of legislation. So we just scratch the surface for some of them, so that we can go into the remaining of the issues. But today is not a happy day for the people of the federal constituency. If what we are hearing from the news and the blogs, they are correct, that we lost a very prominent son from Bende. I'm sure very soon his name will be revealed, but it's a very sad moment for all of us in the federal constituency. But we're still investigating to know whether the story is true or not, that the very prominent son, resourceful, valuable son of Bende was assassinated. The details I will not give, but just know that it's not a very beautiful day for us in Bende. Hearing is true. Pray that his soul will rest in perfect peace.
Amen.
He was a person friend and an uncle. Welcome to. Yeah, having said that, we promise Nigerians will be during that committee. The committee resolution is issue of power sharing. How they handle issue of power sharing adaptation was that they recommended that the complexity of power sharing be managed at the party level rather than in the constitution. Any constitution review committee, these are some of the things that we should have in mind, that if you ask for addition of power to be in the constitution, it might have a lot of people might kick against it, but at the party level, they can actually accommodate that. Resource control, I already mentioned that it was recommended that it goes to the state more, and that the committee recommend that the state exercise control over natural resources within their respective territory, and also pay taxes and royalties to the federal government, which call for like Nigerian Mineral and Mining Act of 2007, like the Petroleum Act, Law of Federation of Nigeria of 2004, and also like the Petroleum Profit Tax of 2007. So these are some of the things they say that should be looked into. I mentioned that last week, and also they looked at this legislature that we have. We have a bicameral legislature. They recommended that we should retain it. So many people have been, for the what is it called? The type of legislature we use to be, in the camera instead of by camera.
Okay.
They said no, we should keep it as it is, but we should keep it as it is. We review the running course and the way the members attend, maybe partially, not full time and all that. Other issues that they raised included citizenship and demand for affirmation for vulnerable groups. Those who are physically challenged people. The committee recommended that all categories of this kind of people, women, youth, and physically challenged, should be given adequate attention in terms of appointment into government, into jobs, employment, and political position. They also recommended that the creation of a dedicated advisory role at all government should be set aside, to take care of this the type of citizens of our country, because that challenge does not mean they are not part of the country, the citizens of this country. Now, ministerial appointment, a lot of people have been looking at it has to do with Section 147, subsection 3 of the Constitution. It was recommended to be amended to remove the requirement of Mr. President to appoint a minister from every state of the Federation, who must be an indigene of that particular state. They are trying to say no, that it is not democratic to appoint people only based on the state that they come from or where they were born in. This has generated a lot of dust. People are saying if you live one for some out of the Constitution, it becomes the whims and caprices of whoever that is the chief commander-in-chief of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. So personally, I have an issue with that. There is no state you will go to and you will not find credible people. Personally speaking, though they recommend that, I think in the spirit of a federal character principle, I think it should be left the way. Issue of state constitution, they said it. But the issue of role of traditional rulers, they were incorporating the traditional institution into their governance. The model should have a space for them, while the respective houses of assembly should come out with appropriate laws in that regard, which means the traditional rulers, the Ndezes, there should be a space for them in governance. It's not just answering a royal father and there is no role they play in government. That reduces their value and I'm also in support of this, that the traditional rulers their value should be increased in the society. And they are saying that the constitution now, while we are amending it, we should fight for it. And while doing that also, it is important that every state government, through the houses of assembly, should draw up laws that will complete a model that will recognize the the national leaders in our various constituencies. So the minimum wage is another issue they looked at, and as you are aware, it has appeared before the House that they want to remove it from the exclusive list and put it on the concurrently. The committee recommended that each state should be free to decide on its level of remuneration based on its resources and productivity. States are controlling their resources now. If we have said that the states should control their resources, the natural resources from them, and then pay royalties on the federal government. So if you control your state resources and you are making the money, you set up the minimum wage for your country, for your state. That is what we are proposing, with regards to minimum wage. Was against the a short while ago, but for me, if we can achieve resource control by the state, to make the state more buoyant, the state is more buoyant, nothing stop them, give them access to resources, and you ask them to set minimum wage. It might be against the interests of the labor union. Now, on governance, also, the committee said that there should be a review of immunity on governors and deputy governors. They recommended to it. What benefit is it to governors? So does it make governors and deputy governors have excess powers and become untouchable? So that is it. Right. Should be given the autonomy to conduct their own election. So if local government want to do election, they should have autonomy. States should have autonomy. Federal government should have autonomy. That is the proposal. Now, second to the last on this issue, is the issue of judiciary. The committee recommended for the creation of State Judicial Council, which will exercise the same function as the National Judicial Council, the agency, in relation to state courts. The committee recommended that Section 6, subsection paragraph K, be amended. It's clear that the state can establish courts to exercise jurisdiction at first instance or appeal on matters within respect to which the state can make laws. The things that we can make laws on, they can also have court for. If they can make laws for 1, 2, 3 issues, they should have court that have competent jurisdiction, both as the court of first instance and as well as an appellate court on that particular issue. But the next and the fact they looked at was on the issue of state alignment and boundary adjustment. Okay. The committee recommended that Section 8, subsection 2, subsection 4 of the Constitution, which do with state creation, should be amended in order to subject any request for boundary adjustment and realignment to a referendum, as is indicated creation. And institution. So it's the state or without it going through adjustment at the decision of the various state governors. So these are some of the issues, the summary of the issues that came up during the discussion of the committee. So, as I promised, I've been able to clear that so that Nigerians know
fantastic
the manifesto, the direction of
the APC committee report on true federalism. Thank you for sharing that with us. But the big question I asked this last week, the issue of coming out with resolutions might not be a problem. The issue is if the resolutions reached, it should not be another paper tiger. Implementation, I'm sure many Nigerians are concerned about that. So when are we going to see all these resolutions?
Michael, Like you raised the same question last week, and I told you that the process is on now. This is a policy direction of the party, and as the ruling party, to implement what have been resolved through this particular committee. We use every mechanism of government to achieve that, one of which is this constitutional amendment that is going on. Why I'm raising this conversation, this engagement at the moment, this interaction at this moment, is for our conversation to center around some of the issues that are pertinent, that have been raised by the party that is in power, so that we can showcase it more for people to buy into it and also push it harder. And so that when you go to them who are coming to you and asking for constitutional amendment, tell them 1, 2, 3, 4 were the things you raise in your own resolution, and we know if this is captured in your constitution review, it will be good for Nigeria. Why are you not doing it? And also, you know that as I mentioned last week, through amendment of some of these issues that we are proposing, like pushing certain things from the exclusively to the concurrently, we are unbundling the government at the center. Okay. You know, that unbundling will give more power to the states, and that way the process of restructuring will kick in. And also, why we're raising this conversation is that, like I mentioned last, I'm now in tandem with the governors, southern governors, who are asking for a dialogue. I understood that the dialogue they're asking for is not in the nature of the nation, how we can actually implement what is outstanding, what have been resolved on, and that will help us find a solution to our hydra-headed problems. And I mean, like, these are some of the conversations that will come up, to reach them, when for such discussion, and also to push harder for such conversations to be,
Okay, let's return to the issue of security. Representative Benjamin Kalu, the House of Representatives finally held the security summit after it was postponed due to the death of the immediate past Chief of Army Staff. The National Security Summit commenced. Leaders of the National Assembly sought urgent solutions to the insecurity confronting the nation. Now, people want to see action after these talks. Is help coming from this summit? Are there any solutions to the current instability in the nation?
Definitely, there's a whole lot of solution that is going to come out of this. It was a successful program, successful in the sense that those who appeared on our stakeholders administration list for that particular summit attended. Almost all of them, they were there, from the faith-based organization to traditional rulers, to the military, to the security agencies of the country, to civil society organization, and representative from all parts of the country. You are mindful of the fact that about one person was chosen from each state to constitute the committee, in addition to the principal officers of the House of Representatives. And what they are doing now is collating all that was expressed in the course of the discussion. And at the end of it, they're going to come out with what should be the policy direction, the one that need to be communicated to the public, and the one that also will need to go to the security agencies. Issues of security is not what you discuss all of them publicly. Okay. But chief of the National Assembly for making this happen. Yeah.
So, still talking security, the level of insecurity in Nigeria, especially in the southeast, is very alarming. It is becoming unbecoming, and something urgent needs to be done. The situation in the southeast is frightening. I know you must have heard a lot that is happening, and it is, I believe, you understand that it is time for government to take a drastic action. Now, tension enveloped the 5 southeast states. Unknown gunmen ramping up attacks on security facilities and INEC assets. So what is left for individuals to do at this point, especially your constituents, those that you represent at Bende Federal Constituency?
There someone else says in Nigeria. It is a moment that we all pray will not come to happen. It's a very sad moment. And we can no longer pretend about it. Something needs to be done. The Southeast, which is where I come from, because my federal constituencies in the Southeast, has suffered so much shock with the number of people that have been killed in the recent past. And you are aware that as a leader, we cannot be seen to be quiet about what is going on. It's for a purpose that we are in leadership in such a time as this. And this is my word. And it's no longer time for us to just be waiting for Mr. President. Him to take care of all our security needs. Yes, he's the commander-in-chief. I want to call on the governors of all the regions, especially my Southeast region. Let the governors begin to engage with some of these sons, brothers, them strategic. That is the truth. And to use brutal force on is also not. The agitation has gone from where it was to where it is now, like a movement. I heard the governor say it's a philosophy. I think he called it ideology.
The governor of Abia.
The governor says it is difficult to stop an ideology. You are the governor of Abia State. He said that. And I so much agree with him. This has become an ideology that is now beyond every one of us. And how do you handle it? If you just say those who are the advocates of this ideology, if you ignore those, ideology will not die. You bring them to the table to discuss. If the president is busy or has not found it necessary to do, this is to the governors of the southern region.
Are you saying you're against the use of brutal force as the situation is? I'm against the use of brutal force from either side. Okay.
In the bid to find solution. Not in the current democratic climate. Not in the current world that you use things that be ended on negotiation on the table, where people should be seated. It is not a strength to kill one another.
Now you're saying
is found in the ability to become a peacemaker, where you can call and say, what are these agitations? How do we go about them? It is no longer fanciful to say that the agitation is unfounded. There is nothing we can do about it. No, you marginalized, feel that they are not. In as much as we may not like the approach, it is time for us to start talking, because the way it is going, it does not look good.
Now,
if I allow it to continue the way it is, I'm assuring you that the country will go into flames if nothing is done about it. The use of brutal force is not the solution to what is happening, because how many people are we going to kill? How many people, whether it is the unknown men, how many people would they kill? And if it is in Nigeria, police or the military, how many would they kill of resolving it in a non-violent means?
Interesting. We need
so that we can save this country, so that we can save more lives.
All right, we need to take a break now. When we return, I will still go back to where we stopped, the issue of Southeastern governors and what they are doing and the use of brutal force. I'm going to take you on that. And of course, yesterday's sit at home that took place in the five eastern part of the country, 5 southeastern states of the country, and also these are some of the issues we will discuss right after this time out. It is Ben Kalu's mandate, of course, bridging the gap between the parliament and the people. We've been speaking with Representative Benjamin Okezie Kalu of Bende Federal Constituency.
Is Benjamin Okezie Kalu, representing the good people of Bende Federal Constituency. I am from Abia State. Arise.
From the hallowed chambers, his voice resonates crystal clear.
You say you shared money recently, and I represent the constituency, and there are 360 of us, and all of them are saying we are not feeling the impact.
He's the unmistaken voice of Undi Bende and the image maker of the House of Representatives.
Swept away houses and roads in communities like Mpa, Umimenyi, Ozita, and Bende. Mr. Speaker,
he's a committed, courageous, articulate, and deeply impassioned lawmaker with the plight of his constituents.
Joining me now on the political segment is Honorable Benjamin Kalu, who's the spokesman of the House of Representatives.
Ben Kalu's mandate gives you first-hand information on the activities of the member representing the good people of Bende Federal Constituency at the House of Representatives, Honorable Benjamin Kalu, as well as his position on national issues. Ben Kalu's mandate airs on Flow 94.9 FM, Vision Africa 104.1 FM, and Real 99.1 FM every Tuesday by 10:30 a.m. Ben Kalu's mandate, gains of quality representation.
Well, thank you very much for staying tuned. It is still Ben Kalu's mandate, of course, where we highlight the activities of the member representing the good people of Bende Federal Constituency at the House of Representatives. That's the lower chamber of the 9th National Assembly. He's also the chairman of the House Committee on Media and Publicity and the spokesperson of the House. We've been speaking with Representative Benjamin Okezie Kalu virtually right on the program today. Now let's return to the conversation today. We've been talking about the insecurity and the issue of using brutal force, and he spoke extensively on that. Now, Representative Benjamin Kalu, a lot of people have said that the southeastern governors are not doing enough to curtail the insecurity in their various states, despite coming together forming a Bubiagu that is yet to be operational. What do you think about the response of these 5 southeast governors to insecurity in the state? Though you mentioned one, now the need for them to call those agitating and of course have a roundtable discussion.
Yes, beyond calling them to have a roundtable discussion, we also have a role to play as members of the House of Representatives across the whole region, as well as members of the Senate. We should not be left for the governor alone, though the governors remain the security officers of the state. But they should reach out. They are only found in the senators. The constituencies are under the House of Rep members. Isn't it time for National Assembly members and their state governors sit together to begin to reach out, or for security stakeholders meeting? I didn't see any member of National Assembly invited. For reasons listening to them, or there is still plan in the future to do that. But it is House of Government that this people sees. There are people in this state and other states in the region that don't see their governors, but they see their members of House of Rep more often. They see their senators more often. The governor can use those ones as his representative to create the platform for peace. The platform that will create calmness to this violence that we are experiencing in the region. So based on that, the governors need to do more. They can't do it alone. You see, these people who are in the Senate are prominent people, are leaders. Take for example in Abia State, you have a block that is controlled by Governor TLG, which is the central. You cannot ignore him in issues of security, and he has been. You understand this security architecture of the state. You take, he has been a deputy governor. He controls the block. You take my leader, the Dr. Jekalo. He has governor. He understands the security architecture of the state. He is true collateral limits. But members who handles the various local governments under the district, they come together. That is the kind of stakeholders administration list I want to see that the governor should make use of now in trying to reach out. I have control in my federal constituency. I know they can reach out to and have more peace around my federal constituency, or we're able to harmonize this and build a synergy across the states. We will have done that. The government does not make it diffuse. The people who are working with him in government, maybe at the federal level, like I just said, will be people who will interpret his ideas with regards to security in the state, and together will secure the lives and property of us. It's no longer time to say it must not die. We should watch our properties destroyed. That is one. Another thing also is a call to the IG of police. When you say this will go, you have the license to use brutal force. I had one of his instructions on television, and I was like shocked. If you release them to just shoot and do whatever they want to do, what happens to these people protecting those institutions that have been attacked recently? They have listed, whether they call them unknown gunmen and all whatever. I don't know what. Since they have arrested some and they have killed some, and the people have arrested, I'm sure they must have interrogated them to know who they are. Why do we use unknown? Why do we still call them unknown gunmen? You have arrested some, you have killed some. The people who you arrested are under your custody. The power is supposed to help you discover who are. Where are they coming from? Are they really from Southeast? Are they the government description that most people have? Right, because everybody goes under the particular that nomenclature now and do whatever they want to do, and it goes to those the cause for Biafra, the IPOBs or the everybody wrote them in there. So let's begin to unbundle some of these things, or state government establishment that is being attacked, instead of going to the street and shooting anybody you see on the street.
All right, let's talk about the seat at home.
And also,
quickly.
Those who are busy destroying the properties that is built in Southeast, is that a wise thing to do? It took us time. I grew up in the 70s. It have been interpreted and implemented to the benefit of the Southeasterners. So why should we be destroying the little that we have built through self-help over these 50 years? I don't think it's a right strategy to destroy our own little benefit, either from the federal government or from our self-help. You destroy it, and then we'll go back to square one and we'll start building again. From what resources are we going to do that? So this is a call, both to those who are very aggrieved and who feel justified to be. But I'm not judging and I'm not questioning. But why destroy what we have? We should not be doing that. We should actually protect what we have and ask for more. That is my take on that. The governor should do more. They should come up more. If I of a bubag, for me, it's good, but it should be giving teeth to bite. It should be giving wheels to drive. It's not just we want to see their visible, their visibility. In helping, but in the region. All
right, we need to throw the lines open, but before we do that, markets and roads were empty in the major cities of Aba, Owerri.
I can't hear you.
Okay.
I can't hear.
Can you hear me now? Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
I can hear you now.
Okay, great.
Yes, I can hear you now.
Markets and roads were empty in the major cities of Aba, Owerri, Oka, of course, the heart of the former Republic of Biafra yesterday. The roads were deserted, the markets were closed, public transport services were withdrawn. The same thing, the same story here in Umuahia, Abia's capital city, and Aba also. The Biafra Day this year was marked differently and with high level of compliance in memory of those who were slain during the Civil War. What are your thoughts on this? What does this mean? And what message do you think is being passed by the Southeast?
Yeah, I must say this. To remember the dead is part of a religion as a people. We are predominantly Christians, and in India and your mothers, their days may be long. And in Middle Land, our fathers and our mothers are not necessarily those who gave birth to us. Those who came before us are referred to our fathers and our mothers. And the Holy Scripture did not say father and your mother when they are alive. To honor your father and your mother, your uncles and aunties, who are seen as your fathers and your mothers, is actually a religious principle, whether they are alive or whether they are dead. And if they are dead, it is in order for us to honor them. If honoring them is saying we are sitting at home, we are not going anywhere today, we are going to use it to honor them, I don't think there is anything wrong with that. Let me tell you, it was Isaac or Jacob in the scripture. When he was dead and buried in Egypt, he told his children, I know one day you will return back to the land of promise. Where you are going, take my bones with you. That is the honor given to him, even though he was dead. When the children of Israel, they were leaving Egypt, they went and they exhumed the bone of their father and they took it to the promised land. If they had ignored that, it means a dishonor to the dead. So in Igbo land, in our Christian religion, we have honor for the living and for the
go on, quickly. We were talking about the sit at home just before we had glitches there. So let's finalize that before we throw the lines open this evening. You spoke about the sit at home.
Let's finalize. In finalizing it, I want to say that nobody should have issue that the Southeasterners were mourning their dead. As long as it's not done with violence, as long as it is just sitting at home to remember that I lost blood brothers, I lost uncles, real blood uncles. They're not distant. You know, when we talk about this civil war, people think it's so far from. I felt the pain of the when I heard the stories of what happened. My great grandfather's palace is a Kalu'S in Amongo, my maternal grandfather. The place was blown up. It has not been rebuilt since Civil War till now. His palace, it is there. So we see the debris of war every day when we look around us. And to tell us not to remember those who walked before us and who died, it is unfair. You don't slap a child and tell him not to cry. You don't kill the dead and kill our fathers and tell us not to mourn them. It is not proper. But what we are against is to use violence in doing that, because even the dead will be angry. They are using violence in mourning them. So for me, what happened in the South, it was religious. It was not just a movement. It could have been a call from any other person or any other group. But for us to sit down and say we are sitting peacefully today, we are mourning our dead, there is nothing wrong with that.
All right. Briefly, the Constitution Review organized by the House Special Committee on Constitution Review in the Southeast Zone was postponed indefinitely as a result of the crisis. Will this stall affect the ongoing review process, and isn't it possible to hold it in another southeastern state?
Yeah, to be honest, it will affect it. If one particular state did not do their public hearing, it will affect it. That is the truth. So the idea of having it done in another state in the southeast, I'm sure they are searching for it. Everywhere there is violence. This morning we got news that a lot of people were slaughtered in Ebonyi State. Abia is hot, Owerri is hot, Enugu, people were marched from their churches, out and all that. So is it Anambra? So I think they are searching to know the place that will be more peaceful for us to get it done. And it's very, very important because it's a constitutional amendment. You don't do it without a particular region. So that is it.
Okay, the program will not be complete without getting your reactions. Of course, you listening. The lines are open now, 0808 182 6949 or 0811 605 2949. Also drop messages on 0906 510 8289. We will appreciate it. Go straight to the point. Yes.
I think I want to publicly condemn the murder of Gulak that took place in Imo State last week. The gruesome murder of that gentleman.
All right. Welcome to Ben Kalu'S Monday. What's your name and where you calling from? All right. 0808 182 6949 or 0811 605 2949. Welcome to Ben Kalu'S Mandate. What's your name and where you calling from?
Hello, Mike.
Yes, you're welcome.
Yeah, Reverend Moses from Imo State. Good morning, Honorable. Please, Honorable, I want to ask you a question.
Good morning, sir.
In Nigeria. Okay. My question concerning this insecurity in Nigeria. Why is the National Assembly?
Can you go on with your contribution or your question? Okay, seems to have issues with the network there. 0808 182 6949 0811 605 2949. Welcome to Ben Kalu'S Mandate. Good morning to you.
Hello, good morning, Michael.
Yes, we can hear you. Your name and your question, please.
Yeah, this is Radio Senator calling from Government College, Omaya.
All right.
Let me first of all greet the Honorable. But, Honorable, based on what you have explained here, the constitutional amendment which you people are trying to make, you want the state or the component unit of the country to have more power than the federal government. Honorable, it is no longer federalism. It is called confederalism, whereby any state that is tired of the union can break away. If you remember what led to Nigeria's civil war, if you people are doing this, why don't we retrieve the Aburi Accord and implement it? Because that is exactly what was reached, and which lead Nigerian government to challenge the Colonel Ojukwu and his government in the southeast. So I'm saying, I want you to know the government you people are planning, and they know what led to Nigeria's civil war, and then know how to retrieve it, because some of the things we are saying is against the constitution we have presently.
All right, quickly wrap up a thought, Radio Senator. Okay, thank you for your contribution. He's going to reply your question. Yes, good morning to you. Welcome.
Yeah, I didn't understand.
Welcome to Ben Kalu'S Mandate.
Hello.
Yes, go on with your contribution.
I'm calling from Obose. My name is Raymond Wichi.
All right, Raymond.
Yes, Mike. I want to speak to you this morning. What is happening in Nigeria? Nobody's happy. Our rulers have finished Nigerian people. Nigerians are running, Nigerians are crying, Nigerians are weeping. No hope. Only God is our hope now. See how they are diminishing people, killing people. Everything is coming out, all bad things. Now, what we want is this. Let these rulers drop down and leave the power to the people, because power belongs to people. Now, people will say and people will talk. We want Nigeria to be Nigeria. Thank you.
All right, thank you for your contribution. I'm going to take this message so that he can reply those questions and, of course, your contribution. Chinaza from Isialangwa North says, good morning, Mike and Honorable Ben. It's obvious that Abia State is currently facing two problems, which are insecurity and non-payment of salaries. Please, Honorable Ben, help us tell the governor, since he's your friend, to pay teachers their 2019 10-month salary and help to control security issues here in the state. That's coming from Chinaza Jonah from Isialangwa North. So I would like you to respond to those messages because of our time, so that we can, if time will permit, to take more contributions on the phone lines.
Yeah, I didn't get.
Yes, he's talking about the
picture of
constitution
the
review.
other two, but this last week to speak to the governor. Yes, I have a direct access to the governor. I will not speak to him on a radio station. I'm promising that I will engage with him. I discussed with him today, and I'm sure that I have access to him. I was taught in politics, in leadership, that you discuss people like him openly on issues that you can discuss with them privately. The issue of teacher salary, I can assure you, is a public notice now, and I know I have an audience with him. I will approach him and I find out the challenges that have been affecting that. Yes, they need to be paid. We will find a way for his government to take care of that, so that those who might be tempted to engage in any vices because of lack of salary will also drop it, knowing fully well that it is unemployment and lack of resources sometimes that lures people into these vices that leads to insecurity of our lives and properties. It's a very germane issue that was raised by that gentleman from Isialangwa, and we'll take it up. We'll take it up from there. And let me correct another thing. We are hearing two versions of stories. The brother we were talking about that died, that it was a natural death. Some say it was assassination. Like I said, we're still investigating.
Okay.
We'll try and find out details, and I'm sure in no distant time it will be made clear to the people of the federal constituency.
All right. The issue of
the other issue of
constitution review,
the constitution amendment, and how we should go to Abuja Accord
exactly.
and all that. I don't think. Yeah, it's the constitution amendment. The Abuja Accord was asking for restructuring. I think that is the major thing that Abuja Accord was asking for. And what is also dominating this constitutional amendment, either from the governors and other stakeholders, is also restructuring. That will also bring down power from the center and put it more to the federating units. And I think it's a good call, but we may not go as far as Abuja Accord. Okay. We might take some of the issues raised, which have been raised during the national conference as well, the last national conference that took place in 2014, and also to aggregate all of them to have a better thing that will reflect the desires of the people. At the end of the day, that's what matters.
All right, let's do one for the road.
The ability to capture the desires of the people, what people want, because actually, like one person said there,
would have let's do one for the road. The lines are really buzzing and get what the people have to say. Yes, glad to have you join us.
Thank you, Mike. My name is Mr. Chichoke Benjerot, but my hometown is Lomi Squato. I greet you, Ben Carlo. Good morning, sir.
Just go on with your contribution.
Okay.
Good morning, sir.
First of all, I want to thank Honorable Ben Carlo and Dr. Ojozo Carlo, because I know two of them are working hard, and they are being. In fact, if you ask me, I will score them up to 5%, because they have done well in Bende and Atenot as a whole. So I also want to tell Ben Carlo that all is not well in Southeast. Let them from Abuja and those in Abia State come together and see what they can do to make sure that everywhere is calm, and to also make sure that the life of citizens are very secured. Because this problem started when we started seeing bad governance. But most of the governors in Southeast are not doing well. And this, you also know that a hungry man is an angry man. You cannot owe somebody salary after 10 months, 1 year, and you ask that person to relax and sleep. It's impossible.
All right,
so
wrap up your thoughts, please. He needs to respond.
Let them
give
people real governance. Thank you.
Thank you for your contribution. We'd like you to respond to that, and then we'll wrap up the program.
Thank you for recognizing the effort we are making better. Mike, can you hear?
Yes, I can hear you, please. Yes, go on.
Okay. Acknowledging the effort we are making to serve the people. We are the people's servant. We are not actually, we don't see ourselves as leaders, so to say. We see ourselves as people who have been asked to be on the front row to serve the people. So we'll keep making effort to make sure our constituencies and our senatorial district that they receive the dividends of democracy. Like I always say, Dr. Jikalo, you can call him anything you want, but one thing that people in Abia North is aware of is that he has been working seriously, more than ever, to make sure that he change the narrative. The same thing goes with my effort I'm making to complement his work. And also, Honorable Kiru Onyejocha is also making a great impact where she comes from. So, like you said, one caller said, it is high time we from the federal join forces with the state. This has been my philosophy all this while, that once you're elected, you forget about the colors of your party, join hands with the state government to build the state. And I have proposed to the governor of our state and other governors in the region that they should call a meeting with all the stakeholders in the National Assembly from the state. Let us meet together and crack this and go to our federal constituencies and senatorial districts to be able to ensure that security is increased for the lives of our people and the properties of our people.
Representative Benjamin Kalu, thank you very much for your time today on the program Ben Kalu's Mandate. Hopefully next week we will take more calls because the people want to talk to you. The lines are still very much buzzing here so that they can share their thoughts and of course rub minds with you, especially
Mike. Mike, that's good by next week. But can we look at it's 2 years that this administration has been in place at the federal level? Though I'm not the spokesperson of the federal government, but I'm part of the government at the federal level and I'm a part of the ruling party. I would like us to spend next week to look at some of the achievements of this particular administration so far, not in the manner of blowing our trumpet, but also to increase the knowledge and the awareness of people on how far we have gone with this particular administration.
For your contribution. We do appreciate your time this morning, of course, for sharing your thoughts with us on some very critical issues in this nation. Thank you very much for joining us, Representative Benjamin Kalu.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Abian. Thank you, everybody. Thank you, listeners, for tuning in. God bless you.
Thank you. The program returns next week. Of course, Representative Benjamin Kalu will be here to take your questions, of course, and rub minds with you again on Ben Kalu's Mandate. Do enjoy the rest of your day.